Hey YouTube, it's Petey. In this video, I have replaced the pickup in my Riverhead, my unicorn bass. We put this Safu brand soap bar pickup in the Riverhead. Um, my wife has a new bass that she's going to bring over for you guys to take a look at. That bass had these similar to this Safu pickup in it, and we had gotten used to her playing that bass, and it had a real lot more treble and upper mid range to the bass sound. And we got used to that, and then one day we went and got this and put this on there, and boy, it didn't sound right. So I spotted one of these Safu pickups, and it looked like it measured about right. Of course, I had to sand it down aggressively to get it to fit, and I had to cut a little bit of the paint off the inside of the pickup, where the pickup routing. Um, we got it in there, and the pickup does sound good. It does. We had a 15K in there. What we had in there was a guitar humbucker that had two individual rails. It wasn't a hot rail, but it was just like big chrome block. And I did that. I got that because it would line up with the. I thought it would line up with the strings no matter what that way. Now the way this bass is wired, there's this toggle here that's DP/DT, so it has 6 connectors. When you put this switch up, you can get only the top pickup. The top pickup volume, the bass pickup is always routed through the bottom potentiometer. And honestly, I really don't like the way this thing is routed. Um, this has a real mid-rangey sound to it, this pickup, but I kind of like that to get more like of a more stand-up or 70s bass effect with this. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Do I tear this thing apart and reroute it? Is there any bass guitar people that know about? Could give me a wiring diagram that there would be a really good one for this, where you have 2 humbuckers, you have 3 potentiometers. I mean, I don't know. I would almost like to have a three-way switch where in the middle you have both pickups on, and then these volumes are independent. Is what I would like to have. Really like to have. We have coated strings on here. These are tape wounds, so there's plastic that's wound around them, and it came off on the 5th string. It came off. You can see there's a little discrepancy right there. Right there, you can see it's bigger. It's smaller diameter up here, and then it's larger because it came unraveled here. And that's the thing. If you're gonna cut a tape wound string, you're gonna put yourself in jeopardy of it unraveling like that. And this brand, these are Labella tape wounds. If you're gonna try tape wound on a headless bass, I would recommend you get the black ones and do it. You might have better luck with that. They're different. The white and the black are different, and the white is not as hardy, the tape wound material. So we got rid of the old pickup because the blue bass had more mid and upper mid, and I don't know, until we play this. We tried it with a little mini amp rig here. There's an 8-inch speaker here, and then this is a little like 5-watt amp with some batteries on the inside of it, through this processor. And until we play with our headphone rig, then we'll really know what's going on. But honestly, the major problem with this bass right now is these strings, because your hand doesn't make your skin doesn't make contact with the ground, and it makes all sorts of noise, hum, and interference. Like a normal electric guitar, you're always grounded when you're touching the strings. This one, you have to touch the bridge because the strings have the coating. They have the tape wound plastic. They're great for playing. They're great for your fingertips, but unless you're ultra conscious of that, or you always keep one finger on the bridge, or keep your palm on the bridge, it's going to make noise. So I was thinking of maybe getting a ground bracelet and putting a jack on here where you could plug in and ground yourself. I don't know. That would be one way to do it. If we had to do it, that would be one way to do it. But yeah, I really do love this bass. I love it so much that I want to kind of keep it here. I got her that blue bass to replace this, and it's a little bit harder on the fingers. It's not as easy to play. The string spacing is wider on it. So it's like, I think I'm looking to get a deal on a Ibanez micro bass. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get a deal. It looks like we're going to have to just bite the bullet and pay full price someday down the road and get that bass for her. And that way maybe she could figure out how to do octaves, like do a C, like bum, 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 do octaves on a C. Because as it is now, she's unable to do that. Anyway, that's what's going on with this bass. Those tape wounds, like I said, they're great, but they unground you from the bass. That's just a fact of life. Now, there's ways around it, like if this was like a P bass, there's a spot where you can put your thumb. There's a little wooden thing you can screw in. It has 2 screws. It's a little piece of wood, and then you can rest it's a thumb rest. Well, one of my ideas would be either drill it out or run a wire around and have a metal plate on that, and have that be grounded. And then you would, whenever your thumb was pressing on that ground point, or the other way, like I said, you could even do it on your ankle. Have a grounding bracelet, a ground strap, and then have that connect to your cable. So there's ways around that, but as of right now, we have the old pickup, which is 14. It was like 15K. So we can put that back in here if we want, or keep the Safview in here. The original Riverhead pickups that were in here, they died. They had molded cases. They had angles all around. It was really cool, but they stopped working. And I wasn't really so hot on those pickups. I mean, I got these. This is an imitation. I really don't like this pickup. I really don't. It's just try to find something that fits in here. So I don't know. Maybe I will ohm this out, see what it ohms out at, and then order a more modern, newer version of this that's wound a little hotter, and replace that with get this one out of here. Rewire this. Like I'd like to really get this dialed in and find some great strings. Like there's the pressure wound strings that people are really, they seem to really love those. We put a set on my wife's, her blue guitar. So we're going to see how that works out. That's where we're at in Bassville. As far as guitars go, I have the infamous Bootlegger Spade, and yesterday, on a whim, I got it out. I had taken it in and had it serviced again. It was the second time I had that guitar set up, and really unsatisfactory results. I didn't pay for the first service. The first service was the guy who sold me the guitar, paid for it. There is so much bad karma associated with that guitar that like I was excited when I purchased it, and then when I got it, it was messed up. And when I got it back, it was still messed up. The guy screwed me over on the deal to set it up. I took it into my other guy and left him specific notes that I wanted to change from 10 gauge to 9 gauge strings. I needed him to adjust the tremolo claw springs, and he didn't. He didn't. When we went to pick up the guitar, I got the whammy bar out, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't even know that thing had a whammy." And I'm like, "Well, you didn't read the note that I slipped into the strings that said the whole reason this is here is for you to adjust the, give it a setup, but the main thing is the tremolo." So all of that bad karma has caused that guitar to just sit in the case. I've never had another guitar that sat in the case like that. That was mine. There are other guitars in this house that are sitting in the case, but they're not mine. So last night I got it out, and I was in a really good mood for some reason, and I played and played and played. I played the whole set on it, and I've decided that that's the guitar that I want to play now. Despite the fact that I went way out of my way with the Stratocaster to get the 2 and 4 thing going. So I'm going to determine what songs do I really need the 2 and 4 sound, and I'm going to be switching back and forth. But the good news is for me, I got a guitar that I had here. It was not a cheap guitar. That's the most expensive guitar in the house, and I wasn't playing it, and I've slowly been warming up to it. And yesterday when I played it, I played really well. I didn't really make too many mistakes, and I felt good about what I was playing. So that was a real that left me feeling in a pretty good mood. Now, if you've been paying attention, the situation with my tinnitus, I stopped taking my nighttime sleep aid, and my ear ringing went away. So it's kind of come back. I took the sleep aid last night. I haven't been able to sleep. I've just been laying in bed for hours and hours and hours, and I broke down and took it last night. Now, today we went and picked up some stuff, over the counter stuff. It's not diphenhydramine, because the diphenhydramine doesn't work for me. So the point is, I stumbled a little there. My ear ringing is back. I'm going to go back into it and try to get that nipped in the bud. Only this time I have something over the counter to help me be able to fall asleep. So we'll see how that works. But we're going to do some vacuuming, get this place tidied up a little bit, and then my wife and I are going to play tonight. And so I'm looking forward to that. It should be interesting. Maybe switching guitars out, or maybe I'll just play the whole set on the bootlegger Spade. And if you haven't seen that guitar, you're in for a treat. It's a really unusual looking guitar, and I'm gonna be using that, so you'll be seeing it. Anyway, you guys, thanks for tuning in on this one on bass pickup. Again, my advice to you. I come from the school of, like, I love to tinker and have projects, but with guitars there is something to be said about the standards. Like, the reason that the value of capacitor and the value of the potentiometer and the ohms of the pickup in the Stratocaster, what all those numbers, what they all add up to, is generally something that serves itself well. So if you start, the further you start going away from that, and like I've heard I think it was Steve Hackett. He's a guitar player from Genesis. Yes. I heard him say that the guitar players a lot of times will think that they can have one guitar to do everything, and you can't. You can't. So if you are a if you're a touring musician, if you play out, that's something to think about. Is like buy the Strat that has the humbucker in the bridge with the push pull coil, because maybe they'll have, like, read up on it before you buy it, find out if it's balanced out. There's a thing where the one pickup can be way hotter than the other one and it causes issues. So my point is, with messing around with this stuff, having the numbers of testing and ohming out the pickups and having them be similar or close number is always a really smart thing to do. And just not messing with it. If you get it stock and it's working well enough for you, and you might have to and see, that's where it gets complicated. Everything is fine for me until I'll do something like, oh, I'm gonna try playing that song on this guitar that has these pickups in it. That's the song. That's the guitar that I wrote the song on, and then you play it on there, and it's like, oh, there's the tone. That's so at that point, then you have to be open to touring with this or getting something to replace it, because you can't turn this into a Strat. You can't take a Strat and turn it into this. You can get it close. You can get it like halfway, but getting it all the way there, it's not going to happen. And those, like, compromises like that, if you're like me, they're going to bother you enough to affect your performance. So the best advice I could give anyone is choose your path and stay on it. So if you are like, all the guitar players that you look up to played Strats, just get Strats and don't ever get a guitar with a humbucking pickup in it. If you love AC/DC and you love Gibsons, don't ever get a Strat. Because once you know about the single coil thing, the magic that's in a single coil, it's really hard to go to like, humbuckers sound really good and they have the oomph, but they're missing a real lot of sonic character that comes with a single coil pickup. And people go, oh, we'll do the coil tap, coil split, it's called. And that's a switch on the guitar. You can put in this switch and it'll shut off half of the pickup, and it'll convert a humbucker, which is two of these single coils, to a single coil, which is what's in a Strat. So in theory, this switch should give me Strat mode, but it doesn't. It gives you a little bit of it. What it gives you is a volume drop. And why you would ever want that on a guitar, if you understand the concept of rock and roll, we don't want switches to turn things down. So in my experience, I mean, maybe it's the fact that the magnet, once you put the humbucking pickup together physically, it changes the sound. You lose that magic. There's something to be said about positions 2 and 4 on a Strat. And a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, this magic, it goes away when you're just putting it. when you run everything through like a metal zone distortion pedal or a big muff or a fuzz, when you run something through that much gain, wherever you're getting the gain, it could be in the amp, could be in the head of your amp, but when you're gained out like there's no tomorrow, a lot of that nuance stuff goes out the window. So these problems that I'm talking about, they're really like they're old fogey guitar guy problems. Because when you're young, you don't play clean, you know? Maybe you play clean and it's at the beginning of the song to go, you know. One, two, three, four. And you kick the distortion on and you do your power punk. I'm not talking about that type of clean playing. But like listen to Hendrix play Little Wing. Listen to that Strat. And I mean it's pretty clean. It's not really dirty. Maybe it's a little bit in between, but there's something magical in the voicing of a Strat, especially in the 2 and 4 position. Those sounds are not young man guitar tones, but that's for later on in life. And this is the stuff where it gets complicated. This is where we're not using distortions, we're using clean boosts. And if you want to get specific, I really like the EP boost, the Echoplex boost. Right now I'm playing through a Germanium Rangemaster. I built the Silicon and a Germanium, and the Germanium has some magic to it that's undefinable. I just can't define it. I really didn't think that this would ever come out of me because I'm really against that stuff. But once you build two pedals and they're both the same, except the only difference from the one is the transistor and they sound a little different. So yeah, I'm using that Rangemaster, which really boosts the treble a lot, and I found that the EP boost helps me bring me back some more of the full-bodied sound, more of the mid-range, and so I combine them, and that's really been the secret for me running through models like the Vox AC30 on my modeling unit. Anyway, you guys, I gotta run. We're coming up on a half hour here. Thanks for joining me on this one. Hug your pets and peace.